Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. I shall see what's going on a lovely little island of Fawnhollow today. I suppose it's not that little, being 25 acres and all, which, you know, I don't really have much of a concept of how large an acre is. You know, this is something, you don't know it, you Google the answer. That's what I tend to do in Animal Crossing nowadays. How large is 1 acre? 1 acre in square meters. That's not how you type square. I just type meters, apparently. 1 acre in square meters. I hate that when you, like, try and click on a text box and you try and type, but it turns out you clicked right next to the text box, so it doesn't type anything. About 4,000 square meters. Okay, so I still don't really have much of an idea how large an acre is. That I can't visualize 4,000 square meters. Am I crazy? Why did I think that? Hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 3:40 p.m. on Monday, July 26, 2021. No news today, except for another day of entertaining broadcasts. Hold on, I'm trying to think. 4,000. 20 by 20 is 400. So what's the square root of 4,000? Square root 4,000. About 63. So it's about a 63 meter by 63 meter thing. I can't... That's pretty big. Okay. Now think about it. That's pretty big. My dear burritos, I've been thinking we should be hanging out way more. Maybe sending you surprise gifts isn't the most efficient way to tell you that, but what can I say? You deserve extra special treatment. Until next time, Audie. Is that a new letter? I don't remember it. Let's see who others does today. It's not red. Is it a wandering visitor? Forgive my wandering eye. Oh no, it's just Leif. Hello, Leif. Unfortunately, you don't have anything particularly interesting to sell towards us, so we'll just go about our usual Nookmar mission. I did not pay attention to any of those missions. Was it customized fruit? Buy hot items, flowers. Okay, that's a weird combination. I don't know. What should I talk about today? I don't really have anything. There's nothing like particularly interesting. Well, okay, that's not true. But there's always stuff going on in the world which is interesting. But I mean, like, I can't think of anything off the top of my head in these like first 2 minutes, which would be particularly interesting to talk about. So we're just sort of gonna vibe, I guess. Like, vibing's fine. What have I been up to today? Been doing a bit of drawing. Didn't do programming. Probably do that a bit later. And played a bit more Binding of Isaac, as you know the deal. Me, my boy, Binding of Isaac. So I just realised the acronym for it. Not acronym. Wait, is it acronym or initialism? One of them is acronym is if you say it as a word like NASA, and initialism is if you spell it out. I don't know what happened to my accent there. Like ATM, right? It's like, I don't know. It's like weird grammatical. Well, it's not really a grammatical difference, I suppose. It's more like a semantic difference, isn't it? It's like a technicality which people don't really care for. If you're wondering why the camera's moving so much, it's because I've got Joy-Con drift on my right, my right Joy-Con. So every time I put it up by instinct, it eventually comes back down again. What was it? Fruit, buy things. It was not a rock. I don't know why I thought rock was one of them. Fruit, buy things, customize. Fruit, buy things, customize. Oh, we got enough fruit, turns out. Like those semantic definition, there's tiny little differences. Do they really matter in the end? Like, I mean, it kind of depends on you. Okay, if this is going to make me sick if I keep doing this up and down again, I'm sorry if it does make you sick. Like things like initialism versus acronym, I feel like most people would understand what you mean if you say, oh, the acronym MIT or something like that. I don't know why that came to mind. I don't know why such American ones are coming to mind. Or like BBC or something like that, you know? It's like... I know most people you meet don't really care about these sort of grammatical differences, but now I think about it, I was just like, why do people even care about these grammatical differences? I know that's sort of like a sort of over-encompassing phrase which doesn't really make much sense, but like... Okay, like good grammar, it does matter, because in formal situations you're expected to use good grammar because it's a formal setting or that sort of thing. Okay, so why are you expected to use good grammar in a formal setting? Well, I suppose it's more to do with, let's not solve that. Because it's the expected, like, decorum, I suppose, you're meant to have in a much more formal setting, and by showing, like, you can use, well, good grammar or whatever, that sort of thing, and speak properly. That's a bit of a sneaky way to put it, isn't it? No, I'm going back on my thing. I was going to say it like, it shows you understand the mannerisms and the atmosphere the situation entails. like you have a social awareness about that sort of. But now I think about it, that's just kind of like snooty talk, isn't it? I don't mean to be so dismissive of it, but it's like, you know, it's a bit discriminatory. It feels discriminatory to me. But also, I'm not educated enough about this entire thing to really talk about this. So we're just here to take it from the comedic spin. So don't read too much into what I'm saying. I'm just here for comedic talking purposes. And my entire point was no one cares about the difference between an initialism and an acronym. Unless you're a linguist, in which case I guess you might care. Which is fair enough, you know. No, don't let me, like, belittle your job just by being like, oh, whatever, you know. We don't need to care about that sort of thing. Because, I mean, you care about that sort of thing, I suppose. Because I'm someone of, a person who likes... It's not like I love rules and definitions by that sort of thing, but I think they should exist, you know. Like, communication between people is hard enough in the first place, especially with different languages and that sort of thing. So if we don't have set out regulations and understandings of things of each other, then at least they're easy miscommunications. Oh, what's this? Flat garden rock or shell fountain. Those are both very annoying to build, if I remember off the top of my head. Flat garden rock's probably the easiest, but even that's quite a lot of stone, if I recall. That's flat garden rock. 20. Oh my word. So what do? Customize item. Okay, customize and wood. Well, it's a thing like I'm trying to think of like stories of bad grammar from like my school days, because that's more up my alley, you know. About things I talk about. Oh, I remember back in school when I did this. But I don't really remember much of like grammar lessons. I don't even remember having explicit grammar lessons, which is a weird thing. You know, I remember the only thing I remember was being taught what an adverb was. What an adverb was. So I'm going to regale you the story if you are also, for some reason, you don't know what an adverb is, whatever reason might be, you know, or maybe you're learning about it now. Let me teach you. Teacher dear is in the house. So what my teacher did is she wrote on the board, the cat jumped over the fence or something, and she was like, what other sort of things could we add to the sentence, because recently we had been learning about adjectives, that sort of thing. So then some people were like, oh, why not the black cat jumped over the fence, or the black cat jumped over the tall fence, and that sort of thing. And basically, we just suggested a load of different adjectives, and she talked about the fact of, don't these feel all kind of the same? What other things could we add to the sentence? But of course we only knew about adjectives, so we just kept adding the same things over again. So we were like, the big black cat, or like, the quick black cat, I don't know, that sort of things. Just a load of things, you just kept adding adjectives either onto the cat or the fence. But I suppose what she was trying to do, she was trying to hint towards us, the concept of adverbs. So it wasn't until I remember who it was, for some reason, who said it. It was another student in my class, and she just went, what about the black cat gracefully jumped over the fence? And then the teacher was like, yes! Today's class is going to be about adverbs. And then I don't remember the rest of the lesson, to be honest, but that was it, the concept of adverbs being taught to me, and it's been stuck into my brain, I suppose, ever since. And I suppose part of the reason is because, you know, I remember putting my hand up after people suggested a load of adjectives, and I just suggested another adjective, but I did it of like, being like, oh yeah, I bet this is what she was looking for. She wanted a different sort of adjective. So I can't remember. I think I said like the old black cat or something. So it wasn't no, that doesn't right. It was like the happy black cat. I can't remember, because I was like, oh, it's not a physical adjective she wants. And it sounds so stupid to say, but you know, kids are kind of stupid. I remember when this other girl, she suggested I gracefully jumped over the fence. I was like, oh, why didn't I get that? I should have been it. I meant to be clever. I meant to get the answers right. I guess I was just weirdly bitter with the fact I got the question wrong. Of course, now looking back at it, I honestly don't care. But for some reason, that's been seared into my memory. For who knows what reason. But that just being the adjective... I'm sorry, not the adjective. The class about adjectives and that sort of... Not adjectives, adverbs. Anything that ends with ly, as we've been taught. I don't know, because I feel like when you've been taught things like this in primary school, it's like... They always try and, modelling clay. Did I not make that yesterday? Why do I have so many things here? They always try and teach you, like, these sweeping rules to, like, expect for grammar and that sort of things, like I before E, except after C, which, you know, apparently is wrong in more cases than it's correct, but whatever. it's more like yeah, especially when they try and teach you grammar and anything like that, they try to give you sweeping rules, and that, I mean, it kind of works, I suppose, with adverbs. Like, adverbs are just things which end in ly, which is almost certainly not the case, I'm sure, for all adverbs, but I'm struggling to think of one which doesn't end in ly, to be honest, off the top of my head. And there almost certainly is some. But, wait. Sorry. I just cracked myself up because I just remind myself as random Tumblr posts I see, and if you don't, like, go onto Tumblr, which is fair enough, it's not so bad anymore, apparently. But it used to be very terrible. And then, you know, they've banned adult material, and then, you know, everyone's moved to Twitter instead, and now Twitter's terrible. But no, some random Tumblr post. So when some person was just like, oh my god, I just realised that hurt is the same in the past, present, and future. And they just went like, I was hurt, I am hurt, I will be hurt. Because the hurt never goes away or something. It's always there and it's always the same. And then someone just went, that's because hurt is like an adjective, not a verb. It doesn't change tense. And I just remember reading that and just absolutely cracking up at it. It's so dumb, you know? Because I read it, I was like, huh, interesting. Because that seems a bit strange, but it seems wrong, but I can't put my finger on why. And there's just like, you scroll down a bit and it's like, oh, hurt's not a verb. It's like, oh yeah. You can't help but laugh at your own stupidity, I suppose, at that sort of point. But imagine if the people who made English actually like put that sort of depth and thought into those sort of things. But like, oh, you know, hurt's going to be an irregular verb which doesn't change out, it doesn't conjugate at all, no matter what tense you put it in, just to show that the hurt never stops hurting. The thought of that actually happening is actually cracking me up slightly as well, internally. I say that a lot, it cracks me up, and then I just like have a dead reaction to it in the first place. I have internalized emotions, like most people. Wait, oh, that's not what I meant to say. I have subdued reactions, is what I meant to say. I don't know why I went with internalized emotions. There's got to be an adverb which doesn't end in ly. There's probably plenty. Hold on, let's think. Well, like, I danced well. I guess that's, you know, that was a lot easier than I expected. But what is it with school and trying to drill these sweeping rules or grammar, whatever, to our head? Not like the grammar rules, but things like I before E except after C, which don't even work half the time anyway. Who came up with them? Who came up with I before E except after C? I will say it's got a nice rhythm and rhyme and meter to it, so kudos to that. But it's not a poem we're judging on. We're judging it by its rule sensibilities to see if it holds up under the scrutiny of the English grammatical, well, syntax, I suppose. I didn't really have a sentence, I didn't really have a word which came after that. Let's have a chat with our friends. I'm trying to think of what other sort of like grammar lessons we have. I don't really remember. I don't remember when I got taught about like what a subject, object and verb. No, hold on. Subject, object. What's the other part of a sentence? Subject, object, person? That doesn't sound right. That's not object or a subject. Was it verb? Hold on. This is really testing my primary school grammatical knowledge. But we didn't get this lesson, so fair enough. Subject, object, verb, languages. And another thing is, isn't it interesting how different languages have like different orders that subject, object, verb comes in? Like, what order is English? Subject, verb, object, right? What, Wikipedia's got a different article in every single one of these orders. That's crazy. What's Chinese? It's also subject, verb, object, isn't it? That sounds about right. Are most languages subject, verb, object? Apparently. What's Japanese? Hold on. It definitely ends with verb. I'm trying to construct a sentence in my head in Japanese, and I'm very much failing. Hold on. Let's say I study Japanese. Nihongo. Or watashi wa nihongo. Okay, so it goes subject, object, verb. There we go, you know. Apparently those years I spent in Japanese language education finally paying off as I finally remember how to speak one single sentence. Fortune telling set. I didn't put that away apparently. Subject, verb, object is the second most common order by number of known languages after subject, object, verb. Really? What languages come in subject, object, verb? Chinese? What? Which is also subject, verb, object. Hold on, I've got to read this. What about pink what, Shirla? Features of this word are standard. How especially in standard Mandarin, subject, object, verb is tolerated as well. Wow. I mean, this feels like it should be a conversation topic for a whole different, like, episode in of itself. This is interesting. But obviously I'm not going to sit in and read a Wikipedia articles. I found the episodes where I just talk about Wikipedia articles are very much the most boring ones, I'd imagine. But you're kind of here for me to speak. Film, we're quiet. And I've got to be honest. Oh my gosh. Please just go to the camera. Today, I didn't have a conversation in mind, you know. If you wanted a good conversation, you should watch yesterday's episode. Considerably better. That's right. I don't even recommend you to watch this video. There's 15 minutes left. What are you gonna do? That was kind of weird. Do what you want. I don't know. Don't listen to me. I'm just a random voice through your computer screen or mobile screen or headphones or whatever. Do what you want. You know. No, I'm not gonna stop you. I can't even stop you unless I know you personally. In which case I could try, but that sort of seems like wasted effort in the first place. No, but like grammar's always evolving, isn't it? Right? Like languages drift from their intended uses to other things, other morphologies, morphemes. So I'm just throwing out words now, which I know. I think morphemes are sounds, not grammatical sentence structures. So much fun. You know, despite grammar being such I suppose a pivotal part of your English language, you know, you got to communicate and be understood reasonably well, you've got to have at least, what am I doing? A basic understanding of grammar so you can get your point across and structure it in such a way that people understand you. I feel like grammar isn't actually taught that much in primary schools. Isn't it something which is more like instinctively or intuitively? I don't really know the difference between those two words now I think about it. Just picked up by learning the language when you hear others speak, that sort of thing, right? I guess learning specifically about like the structure behind the grammar, that sort of thing, is probably not as big as a priority as actually learning how to use it in the first place. Isn't that kind of weird? Because when you learn a different language, you learn all about the sort of like grammatical structures and the syntax and that sort of thing, rules behind it. But I feel like I haven't really learned those sort of things in English. You know? I mean, I know what an adjective is, I know what an adverb is, I know what a verb is, a subject and an object of a sentence, but I feel like I haven't been explicitly really told that much in primary school. I mean, we definitely had a lesson about adjectives, we definitely had a lesson about verbs and adverbs. I don't remember ever having a lesson about subjects and objects. And even clauses, like other things which are like thrown in at like English GCSE level, and it's like, I don't even really know what a clause kind of is. Or at least I wouldn't be able to describe it. I think it's like another problem. How do you even describe these words in the first place? Seeing as you can't use the words themselves, and you're describing like the base foundational blocks of the English language, and it's grammar without using any words. You know, it's not as easy as setting axioms down. Well, not easy, I suppose, but it's not like setting axioms down in maths where you can, I suppose, define your language in the first place, and you've already got the basis of language to work from. Like, man, that sounds hard. Which is probably why I'm not a linguist, which is probably better for everyone, I guess. I don't really know where I was going with that either. Anyway, adverbs are just kind of weird. I'm weird, but not really that weird. I wonder how often you consciously use adverbs. Is that a weird thing to ask? I think that's a weird thing to ask. I feel like adverbs don't even come up in conversation all that often. I feel like the only times I really use, or maybe they do, but I just don't really aware. I'm not really aware of it, you know. Something just came to mind. I was like, what if I just like took the YouTube transcripts of all my YouTube videos and just like run them through some sort of analyzer, which could like identify what was like an adverb, a verb, etc., an adjective, and just like give me percentage results of how often I use them. One, that sounds incredibly difficult to do because I think computers not particularly good at language recognition or anything like that. So well, it's a reason that like translators don't do particularly well is because they can't infer any context from sentences or meanings. They just have to sort of guess what it means. They like if a word has the same spelling but different meanings, a computer's like, I don't know which one this is. I'm just gonna guess. Which is why you get such weird things. Which I remember once in our IT class back in year 7 or whatever, which was taught in French, and you might ask why. It just was for some reason. It was like an experimentation thing they were trying to do, and it was not good. I can say as one of the students in that experiment, IMO, but it translated bully to poisson. I remember we translated it and I was like, isn't poisson fish? And it is. I don't know if maybe another way of saying bully in French is actually just poisson, in which case, you know, I stand corrected. But we didn't use Google Translate back when. That wasn't Google Translate. We used some random website, you know. I'm not saying that isn't a part of it, but it could have been a part of it. Nowadays, Google Translate is surprisingly good, isn't it? It's not amazing, by any means. It's not like, I can tell you in Chinese and Japanese, it's good in individual words. It's not great at sentences, which is fair enough. Like, I feel like the important part of learning a language is learning, I suppose, the grammatical structures in the first place. And you can use Google Translate or whatever to learn the vocabulary yourself. It's a lot easier that way around than, I suppose, any other way around. I mean, there's only 2 ways around so you can do it, so I don't really know where I was going with that point. Not a very poignant point. I feel like I've just been talking absolute nonsense for 20 minutes. I mean, like, I know I usually do, but, like, even more nonsense than usual. It's like bad nonsense. It's not even entertaining. Why are we even here? Just to suffer? Sorry, a bit existential there. Not actually that negative about myself about something. I just, you know, some days I just like, man, I got this conversational topic that I want to talk about, and it just comes out so naturally. Most of the time about video gaming stuff and video games here, and you know, some days you're like today where I'm just like, man, I've got nothing to talk about. How am I going to talk about adverbs for another 10 minutes? I don't know anything about adverbs. Listen, how about this? How many adverbs end in ly? How many adverbs end in ly? Here are 64 examples of adverbs ending with ly to get you started. So this is like not what I asked. Do you think that all adverbs end in ly? These adverbs are known as ly adverbs. They even have a name. Of course, not all adverbs end in ly, but I know that. Do all adverbs end in ly? Thanks, grammar girl. Deny, I don't want your cookies. Modifies a noun. No, that's an adjective. Do all adverbs end in ly? Drive slow isn't wrong because slow is a flat adverb. What the heck is a flat adverb? Very. Oh yeah, very doesn't end in ly. Good point. Eats very noisily. The adverb very modifies another adverb noisily. Whoa. Chaining adverbs together. I never really considered it that way. So you can't tell if words are adverbs or adjectives just to see if they end in ly. And the adjective lonely modifies the noun wolf. You know, that's a fair point. What are flat adverbs? You must have heard the joke, working hard or hardly working. Both versions, hard and hardly, are adverbs. Hardly is one of those regular ly adverbs, and hard is what's called a flat adverb. I'm learning something new. Why didn't they teach us this in English? My English lessons. I suppose because it probably wouldn't have retained in my memory. Sort of a strange thing, isn't it? Okay, bugs and fossils. We can do that. Which, according to Merriam-Webster's Dictionary of Modern Usage, is an adverb that has the same form as its related adjective. Examples include the word fast in drive fast and bright as in the moon is shining bright. Yeah. Oh, you know. I can't really say anything obvious. I don't even have something quippy to say. But it just makes sense. And it's something I just never considered before. Is there any, like... How do I phrase it? I was going to say any meaning to a flat adverb. That's not what I mean. But, like, does it invoke anything? Like, if you see a flat adverb in English literature, people have been like, oh, it invokes a sense of bluntness or something. You know? Because certain, like, obviously, like, English techniques have that sort of effect on people. But I want to see. Which words are flat adverbs? So imagine they just listed out one of them. Can words be both adjectives and adverbs? What, you may be thinking? Words like far, close and tight are adjectives? I mean, like, yeah. You're allowed to add ly to the word close. Sorry, I'm just skipping through this. I said I didn't want to read a Wikipedia article, but here I am reading a different article. Flat adverbs are a real type of adverbs. Just make sure that you're using a bona fide adverb. Where are you, Lily? Hello, working out? Working hard or hardly working? You fell into a pit and it took all morning to climb back out. Half my day was ruined. I decided that might cheer me up to try fishing for a while, Rainy. Right away I caught this giant fish. A lucky break seems even better if things haven't been going well. Thanks, Lily. Are you alright? Like, falling into a pit? There's not many pits on this island. That seems a bit worrying, but, you know, as the island representative, we got to make sure that people don't fall into these random pits. Also, I found, like, no fossils on my journey. This is just a terrible episode. This is a dumpster truck, a dumpster fire in an episode. Like, adverbs? You know? That's fine, you know. Not every Animal Crossing. But there's going to be a worse Animal Crossing episode. What if I ranked all my Animal Crossing episodes, like in some giant tier list? It sounds probably like the stupidest thing I could ever imagine. And I'm also not absolutely not watching like 500 or so half-an-hour Animal Crossing episodes, so who knows? I mean, I could just rate them based on what people, their view count, and suppose up and down votes and that sort of thing. They're not called up and down votes, likes, dislikes. Should we see what recent episodes have been popular? This is what we get into. If you don't know what to talk about, do meta talk. People love the meta talk. Animal Crossing reviewers. Apparently he's got a comment. I'll reply to that probably in about 2 days when I remember to check it again. But actually getting around 10... Oh, crossover, I've only got 2 views. People didn't like that one. That's fair enough. If this gets more than like 2 views, I'm going to be shocked. I'm going to be like, why did you watch so much of this episode? Is it just you want a droning voice in the background to fill in the sort of quietness as you do something else? And plus it doesn't really matter the content I say. I could be saying anything, and as long as it's something, that's the important part. That's fair enough, you know. I do that as well. I like to just have something in the background, even if I don't pay my full attention to it. Sometimes I glance over and be like, what on earth is going on? What are they talking about? Why is Deer having some weird existential crisis about what she's talking about in all of these episodes, you know? But then you just look away again and be like, ah, well, she'll probably go over it. After all, I am just a person in the screen. I do not exist. Hello, Jakey. I've been thinking about moving. Ooh. Sure. I wish you luck. Well, I'm going to miss hanging out with you. We had some real good times, Yawn. Farewell, Jakey boy. You've actually been here quite a while. I'm not going to lie. Compared to a lot of other villagers. And, you know, if you want to move on, you can move on, you know. You're a welcome surprise guest that moved in to Fawnhollow. You've been welcomed. And if you've got broader horizons in front of you, you've got broader horizons in front of you. Don't let me stop you. What, this live stream got 13 views? What? The Steam Deck got 34 views? Why? Oh, you know what? I bet it's people searching the Steam Deck and they randomly found this video. This happens a lot in a lot of these random ones. Did I tell you about one of the ones... sorry, there's a little bit not safe for work, but Chicken Please, one of the video titles is called, like, a woman is naked about her secrets or something, and that surprisingly has a lot of views, and if you want to extrapolate, you can probably guess why. Let's see how many people reach this just because they were searching, like, Steam Deck or something. Animal Crossing bit gameplay, video diary. Apparently is what some people hear. Fair enough. Through Google searches. What? Beastars on barbecue? From day 134? Someone watched day 134 and jumped to day 479 and probably got tonal whiplash from this entire series. That's crazy. External. So many external things. That's crazy. This is wild. I don't know what to think of this. I'm just going to close it before I think about it too much. And I'm just going to round up this episode here. This is a terrible episode, I'm sorry. But it happens. Hopefully, maybe you at least found it to be background noise. And, you know, that's a minimum I can hope for. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. This has been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join my Dear Darling Discord. Follow me on Twitter down below. I hope we can see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now. I don't know what this episode was.